Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mining Now. I'm your host, Jared Downey. Today on the show, we have Norda Stelo. First time on the show, lots to cover. We've got two guests. We've got Sophie Boisvert.
Yes, Boisvert.
Boisvert.
Yes.
You say it so much nicer. It's such a nice last name, and then I butcher it with my Western.
Yeah, it means Greenwood in English. So,
And then Kyle Buckle.
Yes.
I can say that name quite well. Sophie, you're the VP of Resources and Industry, and Kyle, you're the Director of Mining and Metals.
Yes.
But maybe actually, let's just start with who wants to just kind of kick off with just who Norda Stelo is.
so I can go.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Norda Stelo is a Canadian-based company, which is it was our 60 years anniversary last year. So I think that we are multidisciplinary with two major sector: infrastructure and resources and industry. But and in this we have mining and metals, where Carl is working on that area. After that, we have energy sectors and also fabrication and transformation, which includes also manufacturing.
Okay.
So, and I think that's good because we finished the year of our 60 years anniversary with the acquisition of CWA Engineers here in Vancouver.
That's where we originally got connected.
Yes, by
yeah.
them, yes, yeah. So, and for us, what is this acquisition is meaning is it's very important because we are known as a real brownfield engineering services. We know about the asset, so we are working a lot of existing asset. So, and CWA was also doing this, but for port and facilities and mining. So for us, it's like now we can like branded or a product that is called site to port or port to site with different solutions that we are working on that. So we focus on that.
So was Norda doing any of the port?
Already, yes, but in the east.
I see.
And working also maybe more on the waterfront of the port. So now CWA are working a lot on dry material handling. And we were working on liquid material or hazardous chemicals also.
Right.
So it's very a complement that.
So complementary and depth.
Yes,
right.
yes, that's
and,
what.
And I guess because there's more locations now that you can.
Yes,
yeah,
and because we have an environmental group, so we can also help CWA, and it was the challenge that we put together with this acquisition. Also, is to the 1 + 1 = 3. So this is where we will go in deep, but also to be more added value for the clients.
When did that acquisition happen?
In December 2023.
Just before the holidays.
Oh, wow. This is like new.
Pretty recent.
Yes.
So there's still integration and
we are
team meetings.
That, yes. We are on that, yeah.
How does this look from the mining side? What does this mean for client facing?
Well, it's fantastic because now we have a suite of services and solutions, expertise that we didn't have previously. So we're able to approach our existing mine customers and talk to them about, different opportunities, different solutions that we can bring to them. In particular with CWA, with that dry bulk material handling expertise, like being kind of the people in Canada with that level of expertise, being able to bring that to our customer base across Canada. And then, being able to work with the customers that CWA was already working with, predominantly here on the west coast of Canada, and bringing some of the other Norda skill sets to those customers as well. Bringing that asset integrity management type work and some of that other sustaining capital type services to those customers as well.
Does it? Is there crossover? Like crossover? Like if you have a customer A. Now, does customer A get fit into service be essentially? Like, can you offer those services?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're like, now,
I asked that question terribly. I realized, I saw the look on your face. Like, what do you? I didn't really know what I was saying either. But
yeah, so now we have this broader, like Sophie said, this broader suite of services. And what we're trying to do is kind of create this congruent set of services that go all the way from mine to port or site to port, and be able to sell or provide those services to all of our customers.
so were you seeing instances where that customer, I guess that by extension, then you were seeing instances where that customer, they're working with you, and then the next stage, now they're having to work with someone else if you're not offering that service or as much depth or
Yeah.
location.
Yeah.
And now we are more a leader also because the deep expertise of CWA is also known in the industry.
Right.
So this is why for us we start to be more the number. We are there, so it's pretty interesting.
I like the humility where you pulled back on the number one.
Yeah, sorry, that's true. It was maybe too much.
But I guess where that sort of leads then is how that transition is. It's really new. I mean, this is months. I didn't realize it was quite.
And I will talk to you. I will speak to you about another one that we just complete a week ago.
Yeah, I saw that one. I was going to ask about that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So
finished with this one.
On the CWA side, what does that look like from sort of client reach out? Does the ROI happen quite quickly? Like, how quickly are you able to go to a client and go, now we have a suite? Or does that take some time to sort of put that together?
It takes a bit of time, but it's not that long. Like,
everybody sort of knows what they're doing already. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
If we look to all the opportunities and proposal that we already gave to, there's a pretty large list already. I was really impressed. Last week, I just asked to the people to give me what's the proposal where we are, and there's a big amount of proposal that are really already all together, even with the third one that I will tell the second one that I will mention. So for us, it's really important. And we were already in the north of British Columbia with one of our major clients that we were doing for the 25 last years. We're doing brownfield engineering with them. So now it's not just localized to one client. It's really like a hub that we are creating, in the north of British Columbia. And that's what we focus on also.
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's talk about the one that you bought a week ago.
Yeah. So
which company was that?
Yes, it's InnovExplo. They are from Abitibi in the north of Montreal, and they are very well known in the industry for the all the geological aspect, so exploration and also mining.
Okay, so this is the opposite end from CWA then.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
I see what you're doing. So they're the number one thing. You shouldn't be holding back on that. No.
But we're trying to pull together all the skill sets that we where we knew we were deficient, where we wanted to be able to bring those services to our customers, where we knew our customers had issues, and with InnovExplo in particular, it gives us access to a different part of the industry that we were currently working in. Like, a lot of the work that we do is with some of the large tier mining companies with established plants, operating facilities. Now with InnovExplo, we're getting involved earlier on in the process. We're working with some of the juniors, intermediates, really looking at the mineral resources, mineral reserves, doing the 43 101s, that kind of early work stuff, and then being able to kind of bring all of that customer base together in a bigger, broader package.
Is it a fair assumption that part of the motivation is that Quebec, I've heard it multiple times in private conversations, and you're obviously seeing the industry, we've had it on the show, the support, especially from Ontario, but Quebec is really ramping up in the exploration side. So is that particular area is where you're wanting to be really strong, Ontario, Quebec? Or is it all? Is it Canada?
It's all.
It's all. Okay.
It's all.
Yeah.
And also our business model at Norda is like Kyle said, is a more on long-term partnership with big mining and metallurgical company. So what helps also with this model with the InnovExplo is to put the seed on a future model on that partnership, long-term partnership. So this is why it's interesting to know what's going on also on more on junior that will maybe become bigger and bigger, and so we will be there,
getting to be part of that ecosystem.
Yeah. So this is why, I think that we are now we are a player in that area.
Yeah.
In the ecosystem.
Yeah.
But to your point as well, like with the energy transition and the the push for critical minerals, it's a big thing in Quebec. It's a big thing in Ontario. It's a big thing across Canada.
Right. Of course. Yeah.
But there is quite a bit of activity currently in Quebec and Ontario.
Well, there's clear government support too.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's what's helping to push it along. But this way, we're able to take part in that to a bigger, bigger degree and with a broader perspective of the market.
Right. That, I mean, a week, I mean, that's not very much time. So it's probably limited on even sort of, but it's, again, though, that will happen quite quickly, right? Because they're already in full scale operation.
Yep.
It's sort of, it's about dovetailing it into yours.
But we already start work, even if it's it was announced like a week ago. We have started discussion and working on that. I think 2 years ago. So we already, even on that, we even in the list of opportunities, we have already some projects that are the three. So Norda, the existing the old Norda, the new with adding CWA and InnovExplo together. So we already put some proposal. I think even for an integration aspect, that's the best way of doing it to get projects.
Yeah.
So you can have big, good processes and the email and all these things, but to do project together, that's the best way.
When you're talking about now, when you CWA, you specifically mentioned a suite. Does this acquisition, does it have the same potential of that sort of that suite of services?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So then what comes in on the technology side? I'm referring to things like AI, service offerings, all this data collection, because now you're going to also become a company that's got just mounts of data. What does that look like?
So on the CWA side, one of the reason why also we did this acquisition is that CWA was already working on existing asset evaluation of integrity, inspection, and all these things. And in Norda, it's also our expertise that we are known in the world for that. This time I was more in the world.
Yeah.
For that, and them too. So, but not in like in conveyor or all the equipment or asset for material handling. So putting this together, it gave us that a strength, very high strength. And in Norda, we have decided maybe 2 years ago, around 2 years ago, we have decided to develop a platform. So a SaaS platform for our client, because we noticed that our client needs to know the condition of their asset. It's not just inspection, but the health of their asset, because they will have to know when to put money for their sustaining capital. So the calendar of that to know, because as an example, they concentrate a lot on the operation equipment, but less on all the assets that are around it. So sometimes they can have a surprise that they need to put a lot of money on a roof or a conveyor structures and all these things. So, and CWA was they have already that expertise. So this is why also they are with us to to develop that platform that we offer to the client. So it's the name is Stella. So it's an asset integrity platform. So it's like the doctor, you know.
Stella is coming originally from CWA?
No, from they have already a little platform also, not a little, but
that's
good
a Norda platform.
That's a
okay.
So now we are working to put everything together.
Oh, I see.
So it's like the doctor, you know. So you have your data, you have all your analysis. So I'm putting all your form or your results that I have. I can have all your health forms that I can give you, like an example. What's the residual life of this asset, and how much money I will have to put in that asset. So that's a thing that we develop. And now, because we are working on to put the data on the right way with the specialist from CWA or Norda, or even we have a relationship with others. So now we start to added value to our data. So we already start to do also some AI on that, because we have to, so we can start to train some algorithms to be able to do the health or the residual life or even the recommendation, because it's helping the specialist to be more efficient also.
Right. And both these acquisitions just provide more and more depth to that. Sorry, what's the program called again?
Stella.
Stella, yeah. Do you work with any other technology company? Like all these, like we do a lot of interviews about technology companies. Are you partnering with them, working with them, recommending them to clients? What does that look like? It's mining has just sort of exploded with innovation now.
It's an exciting time, that's for sure. Yeah. Well, in particular with the energy transition, we're working with a lot of technology companies for decarbonization, energy transition, electrification, that kind of thing. We kind of have our own in-house group doing technology evaluations, vetting,
integration.
And then working with industry partners to find appropriate placements. So kind of being the matchmaker for some of that, to understand, what the landscape is like, and where the kind of key needs are for our customers, and then trying to be able to make those connections happen. And we're focused on right now, we're focused on a lot of the hard to abate stuff. So, the fleet electrification, and that constitutes a large percentage of greenhouse gas emissions for mine companies. But where we're kind of focused is on the process side. So, that's going to be the last bit, the hardest part to decarb and electrify. And we're trying to work with technology companies that will bring innovative solutions to that, de-risk it for our customers as well. And see if we can work together with a number of different industry partners, and maybe do, co-piloting or studies or whatnot to try and move things along a little bit faster.
Because you're kind of almost like a neutral party, so I get to ask this question, where sometimes depending on who I'm asking, it's going to be a skewed answer because they're promoting a technology.
Right.
So I understand it. A lot of times, actually, they're very good at providing the data, but still, they're promoting a product. In your case, how do you see it? Where is mining at with the technology? Give an example. If an operator they want to really invest in decarbonization, is there enough out there to give them the tools to do it with a reasonable price tag?
Well,
the thing.
Yeah. Well, the price tag is one aspect. Right now, it's understanding what, where these technologies are from a risk perspective, TRL level, like how advanced they are. And
so it's not necessarily
cost. Cost, on carbon capture, CO2 capture. Right now, cost is making carbon capture in general cost prohibitive for a number of companies and mine customers. But I guess the bigger problem right now is that technology hasn't advanced far enough and de-risked enough for, in particular, mining companies to say, yes, I want to go ahead with this.
Are those two separate things, though, that it hasn't advanced enough and it hasn't been de-risked enough? Is there technology that just hasn't gotten and sensed the opportunity? Are you seeing that?
Yeah.
Where they've got it. It's there, but are we going to I was talking to Roy Slack, actually, and he was saying, like, some of these investments, they can't undo it. Like, if they go this route, now this is how this mine operates now. They can't flick a switch,
Yeah.
decide to do it another way 6 months from now. So, and mines are taking 15 years to get going, that kind of thing. So is there sort of a separation of those two things?
Well, I think that there's a lot of technology that is on the cusp, and we need to find, and this is part of what we're trying to do with our industry partners, is trying to find ways of pushing forward with those pilots. How can we do this maybe as a collective? How can we do this, how can we get, shared learnings?
Like the energy sector does it quite a bit.
The energy sector is really good at this.
Yeah.
In the mining sector, less so, but I think there's going to be more and more, and we're trying to push it along a little bit and see if we can and help move these technologies along. I think some of them are ready, but they just haven't been proven, and that's where that risk profile comes in.
Is it that collective though? That's probably a huge like Norcat. They've got that underground mine, things like that. That must be key, right?
But it's also to see the mine in the ecosystem of the area also. So I think that also they have to talk to speak to other kind of company where to see where they can be they can put a technology that can help the other one, and the thing. So that's more an ecosystem that they have to build. If also we want, particularly in Canada, we want still to be competitive also.
Yeah.
So that's
you need to be competitive.
That's the other.
It's
So.
But that's a good point, Sophie. Like trying to find mining hubs and mining areas where you have a number of different large industry partners that can work together on, one solution that kind of helps or benefits everybody.
Right.
And there's likely no silver bullet, but there's probably a lot of different opportunities that groups can take. And even on just carbon capture, looking at point source emissions or trying to capture from existing emission sources can be challenging because you don't necessarily know today your production is at X, tomorrow you'd want it at Y. How do you size that piece of equipment? How do you de-risk it now? Because like you said, trying to future-proof yourself, maybe direct air capture is an option. Maybe there's, different optionality there to kind of bring that together, and maybe you can do that as a collective if you're working with a number of mine customers
and
in a
you
region.
get the sense there's an openness to it.
Yes,
there is.
Yes, there is more. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And also at the end, also on our side from internally for our proper ESG and decarb strategy from Norda, it's also to because we are now a B Corp certified engineering. We are certified, so we were the first engineering firm that have it, and we also ask for our EcoVadis by EcoVadis, a company, to do our evaluation. It was pretty good, the first results, but it's because also what we have developed is that our project we have an impact. So it's also good for our employees. They know that with some qualification of project, quantification of project, they know that even if they're doing a brownfield project in an existing plant, they know that they can have an impact. So as an example, if I'm going back to the asset integrity group, I think that we did with them is, okay, if you can be able to increase the useful life of an asset by doing something, when you fabricated that asset, you produce some CO2. You produce some CO2, so there's you can calculate it at that time. But if you're amortize, I have more difficulty with that with time. But if you increase just by 10 years as an example, because you're doing something, but you decrease it per year, so you don't have to create again damage to the planet, so you don't have emission again.
That really is an educational piece of getting with people and kind of getting them through those numbers, that information, and understanding that investment.
So that's a thing also that even in our Stellar platform, so there's now a new model that is Stellar CO2, and they capture the scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3. So it will be good because we can see for the client, he can know the health of asset, but also if it's an asset that produce and do emission, you will know by this. But
And then
also
they can evaluate
with
how,
but also the amortization, because you increase the life, so you can, so as an example, on asset that does not produce emission, but it has when it you did the building of it. So this is also a model that we are working on also.
Is there a couple areas, just before we wrap up the interview, are there a couple like in the mineral processing, are there a couple types of mining that they really shine in, you've had a lot of experience, like just some of these different minerals, or is there a lot of depth across all of them?
I think we cover
pretty widespread.
yes.
Yeah. I would say though that our company has a vested history in the aluminum industry in Quebec. Yeah, so we do quite a bit of work for the aluminum producers in Canada, in Quebec and in Kitimat as well.
And we went more on the ESG and asset integrity place, but there's also another area where we are working a lot is on robotization and automation. So that's also another part because of our deep knowledge and intensive knowledge of the aluminum, like you mentioned, the aluminum smelters.
Yeah. So
this is we do as an example one that we just complete is we did a robotization of the anode but cleaning. That's there. So that's maybe not the good translation, but it's like this,
What is it? What is it?
It's the anode that needs to be clean in metallurgic, and it was really for safety because of dust and because it was done by hand. So the dust, even the jackhammer, created vibration and fatigue to the employees. So we have created robots that can do the cleaning. So also you have a better efficiency, so electrical efficiency.
So you're working with a robotics supplier, and you're saying, okay, this is the problem. You're actually putting this in.
So we are integrator of existing robot that market, but what we do with the client, we establish their needs and all these things. So we create the ends. So we have also industrial engineer that looks to all the aspects. Safety, guard safety, also around the robots, and we create so in place where it's really difficult to go, or is there any safety issue or environmental issue also. So that's the kind of thing that we are doing too.
We do a lot of this work in the manufacturing and processing sector.
So that's where we learned.
So a lot of automation, a lot of robotic type work. But what we're finding now is we're transitioning a lot of those skill sets and that expertise, to heavy industry, and in particular into different mining processes. And it's exciting to see, bringing that robotized automation type systems to mining customers, improving efficiency, decreasing cost and productivity. So.
It's a very exciting time. Now, obviously, if I had another hour, what I'd like to do is jump into some of these projects you've done. I don't think we have that time, but that would be great.
And we are both good to put it more and more information.
Well, that's what happens with the interviews. When we do a first one, it's like, usually it's in the second half. You go, well, that's a whole topic. It's robotics.
We could have done.
I hope this is just the first time you come on the show.
Yes, I hope
you enjoyed your experience. It was very good to have you.
This is great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
And thank you, everybody, for watching. Of course, we will have links to, it's just norda.com, I believe.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. So we'll have a link to that. We'll have you both have LinkedIn, I believe.
Absolutely.
Yep. We'll put a link to your LinkedIn. People can connect directly with you. And thank you to the audience for watching. Please, if you just happen across this interview, please subscribe. Make sure to follow Norda on LinkedIn. We will see you on the next episode of Mining Now.